I can move to anywhere in the country I want to and still be able to do what I'm doing right now with the system that we have in place here with you. I don't want to take over the world, but I want something steady. I want something good that will not only pay for the rest of my life and my family's lives, but leave a legacy too. If I close this one deal that I just got the accepted offer on tomorrow, I could probably match my normal $10,000 to $12,000 gross that I was making for 20 years straight in one deal.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you guys are having a great Friday afternoon. This is the Underdog Recap. This is where I want to, on a monthly basis, bring on the business owners that were on from the previous month's challenge, share takeaways, share what was working, share what wasn't working, their biggest ahas, where they're going to be taking their business into the future, but ultimately the transformation that happens from day one to the end of how these challenges typically work. We're already well on our way into the next month's challenge, but I wanted to make sure we take time and highlight the business owners that we work with for the month of August, Dan Sullivan and Joe Deli Carpini. For today's training, we got Joe joining us. We're going to talk about what he took away from the August challenge, what he was able to accomplish, and then, where is he taking his business now? All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Mr. Joe on. Joe, how we doing, man?
Hey, Matt. Hey, everybody. How's everybody's afternoon and evening going?
Hey, it's good. I appreciate you taking some time because I know it's already getting late on the East Coast on a Friday night. Give everybody, catch me up to speed. Like, who are you? Like, where are you located? Where are you doing business currently? Like, before even the August challenge started, give everybody a little background.
Yeah, so I'm from Westchester, New York. Moved up here from the Bronx. And at that time, I was already a 4-year veteran of the sanitation department in New York City. After coming out of being a diesel mechanic and, just being a laborer basically my entire life since I was 14 years old, landed with the city. And, it's this secure job, which, I got to be honest, nobody really dreams of being a garbage man. But in New York City, it's a good secure job with a good pension and benefits and whatnot. But I just retired in April 1st was my first day of retirement from the city. So now I'm in real estate full time. But I became an agent in 2016, late 2016, and I've been doing the dual career road for the last 8 years of my career and whatnot. So, but I was doing mostly referrals and whatnot. I've always tried to break into the investment side, but there was never enough capital, never enough, tutelage, mentorship. And it was always I felt like it was always like closed little knit groups, that didn't let anybody in, So I finally made the move from Keller Williams over to my current brokerage, which they tout themselves as being investor centric. So when I saw your, ads on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, and I'm like, all right, let me see what this is all about. Cause I'm also a part of Sub 2, and I never really jumped into the Sub 2 or wholesaling or foreclosure kind of niche.
Right.
I just stayed with the retail side.
You were there learning and seeing what else is out there.
Right, yeah. And it was overwhelming a little bit because, again, I'm not 25 years old. I just turned 50. So that hunger of, working 17, 18, 19 hours a day because I got no other responsibilities I'm not in that realm. So,
right.
It came to
people talk about, hey, real estate can be whatever you want it to be, build a business around your life. But really what actually gets put out there is like, you got to work all the time. Yep. If you're not working 12, 16-hour days and your business is not going to go anywhere, are you even taking this thing serious? But that's not the case. You can really, obviously in the beginning, spend more time. You're going to get where you're trying to go faster. Right. But there is a version of this business where it can work around your lifestyle. And I think that was one of the biggest things when we first talking. Actually, that's the kind of business you want to create.
Well, the thing is, too, is wholesaling for me maybe a means to an end. So to keep us down, to build capital and build a network, really, so I can buy some equity and cash flowing, assets where the assets are paying for lifestyle. At 55, 56, I can retire completely if I want to. Mm-hmm. And instead of me having to work for the money to pay for the lifestyle, I want the assets to work for me. And I could just step back if I really want to. Right. I have a 5-year plan for that. But I mean, it's also, I can do it at my pace. I can do it at home. I can go on vacation. I can move to anywhere in the country I want to and still be able to do what I'm doing right now. Yeah. With the system that we have in place here with you.
100%. So what actually made you be like, you know what? I'm going from my retail brokerage and doing my normal retail business, which you're not turning that off. No. But what made you be like, you know what? I want to start doing some of these other types of what was that kick in the butt to be like, I want to start doing that? Well,
it's the retail roller coaster is what I called it. It's I'm not part of a I'm not. First of all, I'm not a model, so I don't have those looks like. I don't look like. I don't look
What are you
like
talking about? You like you work with Sirhan, man. You always
I don't
wearing,
look
yeah.
like and the thing is, I don't want to be a Pace Morby or a Grant Cardone or anything like that. I want to be, I don't want to take over the world, but I want something steady. I want something good that will not only pay for the rest of my life and my family's lives, but leave a legacy too. And
Right.
you realize unless you're closing 40 or 50 deals a year with a monster team, and even those teams, they don't really make a lot of money because of all the expenses.
Oh yeah.
It's still a job. It's still a job. Why? Why do you want to do that? So I have chased all the shiny objects, and Matt will tell everybody right now how skeptical I was when I first talked to him. I said, "You got to prove me wrong." And
100%. That's what I told Joe. I'm like, hey, look, it's work, man. It's not an easy button.
yeah,
But I think more than ever, the conversation we had was, even if you just want to continue to do retail real estate, regardless, I think it's important heading into the years to come with all the changes happening in the marketplace and how we do business in general. And every state's a little bit different, don't get me wrong. But in general, things are going to get more and more tough as just if you're a retail agent and that's the only thing you do and not having other feathers in the cap, so to speak, not having other things that you could do to make money in real estate, it's going to be tough, you know? So
I'll tell you what this also did. It also allowed me to niche down, which I wanted to do, and not cast such a wide net for my retail side. So for me, my niche down is senior transition, and I've made a good network of talking to the attorneys for estate planning and CPAs and financial advisors that focus on the golden years and funding your golden years. So they're feeding me. So I'm not even prospecting sellers for that stuff. I'm talking to people at workshops for me to bring my network business, and then my network in turn is feeding me. And it's a slower.
Yeah. I think it just brings you more opportunities too. Not necessarily just for listings, but for the investing side of the stuff too.
Sure.
For where you're at now, then, looking back at like the August challenge heading into that, you had already been like getting some leads and stuff going in your business for the month of July. You turned 50 on the July 31st.
Hell yeah, I did.
And you're heading into August. I guess, like, what were your expectations kind of going into the challenge?
I didn't know what to expect, to tell you the truth, because I didn't know what I didn't know, right? So, I thought it was going to be like, all plug and play, like nothing was going to go wrong the first week. And then we realized, okay, we have to tweak a little bit in the system here and there. We have to make sure this workflow is running okay. There's no loop. I created a loop and you helped me fix that. I didn't have a lot of contacts in there. You helped me grab some more contacts into the CRM. We had to test. So I tested my own market, and it was because of being in New York and in Westchester County, just north of New York City, the wholesale business is not there. So we kind of set that aside for my fix and flip areas. And then,
but the reality is, so I love what you're saying. Getting into this, you make a perfect plan. You say, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull a list, and that's where we're going to get going. And there's something called the breakthrough membrane. When it comes to making any sort of progress in your business, breaking through to the other side of where your goals are, there's always this where we're at versus where we want to go, right? And there's something that's keeping us there, right? There's all the challenges, the objections, the things that happen along the way that's keeping us, that's kind of like the gap that we're trying to bridge to where our goals are, and so many people spend all their time in where they're at, planning, thinking of all the different scenarios they could do, mapping out what their 30-day goals are, 60-day goals are, 2 years, 5 years down the road, that they find themselves in 30 days in the same place or in 60 days in the same place. But the reality is, no matter how much you plan, your plans always get messed up. Always.
But it's funny, coming in, being as skeptical as I was, I didn't really expect a lot. I expected like a built system. I expected what I found, not as much as I found, I got to be honest. And then I look back today, a couple hours before coming on now, and the numbers he said, we hit the mark, because I put out 6 or 7 offers. I got 3, including today, accepted. 1 backed out because the Archdiocese of Pittsburgh backed out because they want to build something else there. But I had that in front of me. I had another one in contract that the inspection wasn't so great, so we had to kind of negotiate for price, and the seller didn't want to do it. He backed out, or I backed out because the seller wouldn't move.
I still think he's going to come back around, but yes. that was situation on that one.
They're back on the market for 10,000 more than what he had it on when I was in contracted. So, and then I just got another accepted offer today in the new market of St. Louis. So I think that all that happened inside of probably 45, 50 leads, both on and off market.
Right.
So the numbers are there, and I think I just got to build,
especially as you're still learning. The numbers are there,
right?
You know,
and I got the VA, and both of us, both Carrie and I, are learning as we go, and she's doing leaps and bounds every week. And I don't think I would have continued or even started with the amount of work that has to be done without having the VA. I got to be honest, because I have my other side, I got my family, I got other responsibilities. So
right. So what Carrie does helps you generate leads on a consistent basis and really kind of vet some of these opportunities. But heading into the challenge, it's like, okay, you had a month of just learning how, because it's a different world than just a traditional real estate world, and there's a lot of unknowns, right? Well, what happens when this happens, or what happens if someone says that, or if they need a proof of funds, or what happens if the text message don't send out, or what kind of KPIs should I be trying to hit, or blah 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 blah, or they give me an offer and oh my gosh, how do I run my numbers and I need help? There's so many unknowns, right?
Well, I mean, it's going to be unknowns for me now, and we watch John in the challenge right now. I mean, he's killing it. I mean, I would love to have his business and probably say to you, why do I need help? Well, I'm killing it right now, but he wants to hit that next level, and he's still coming to you with things. It's just a continuous learning experience, and it shifts and it moves and it molds to different times. It's just good to have a good community to turn to.
Yeah, and I think the thing about this business is you can turn it on. And we talk about it all the time. It's like you don't need thousands of agents bringing you deals to make a lot of money. John's goal right now is to get to 100 active agents that are consistently bringing him stuff, and he's their guy. But he's been hitting $50,000 to $60,000 a month every single month this year, and now he's just trying to get to 100. Right, it just presents new challenges, but they're kind of the same challenges, but at scale. Where you could close 3 deals, but how do you close 6 or 9? Okay, that turns into there's just new things as you grow. But it's fun for the September challenge for you guys to see that, because eventually you will get there if you want to. You'll get to that breaking point where that's the decision you want to make. Do I want to take it to that level, or I'm good where we're at?
Well, I'm happy for the. I mean, you went right where I really want. Actually, a lot of us wanted you to go there, and that was the second call, right? That kind of like, hey, gonna make an offer, whatever, and then underwrite it, and then call and negotiate to get the deal. I mean, the lead generation stuff, you're going to have your ups and downs, because maybe text rate goes down for a little bit, or maybe something happens with, the CRM, but
the plan gets messed up. You try Jacksonville, Florida, and you don't get that many leads.
Well, I mean, yeah, but and about that, you may have to start and stop in a lot of markets, but that when you go into a new market and you get a few leads, how to talk to the agents, how to underwrite the deals, how to negotiate and get that deal accepted or that offer accepted. That's just, I'm in that phase right now where you have to keep an eye on your lead gen, right? You have to keep getting the deals, the leads coming in. But now I know what to do with the leads, or I'm learning a lot faster what to do with the leads.
So what Joe's talking about, you guys, that'll be relevant for everybody here is, for the month, y'all may remember when we started the September challenge, the part that gets very consistent is right here at the top, right? We should be sending messages and making phone calls. Now, to be clear, this is scratching the surface, right? But you will be surprised by how much business you can do by just simply texting and calling real estate agents, right? I've talked to I'm blue in the face about it, but a lot of people are still skeptical and be like, I don't know, could it really work? And it's not until you see it for yourself that you see okay, there really is something here. I mean, I know a guy who manages a list of probably about 5,000 agents total, and he texts them multiple times a month, and has done over $1 million so far this year, just working with agents, a smaller niche list that he's just in front of all the time. So the thing is, these numbers are the numbers. So very quickly for the month of August with Joe, his business was really just getting up and going. He had about a month to kind of see how everything pans out, how to set up the system, some initial KPIs and stuff. But it does take a little time to know what good looks like and know what bad looks like. Is this good numbers? Is this what I could expect? Or should I be expecting more? You don't know when you just get started. So, part of these challenges is also either telling you this is par for the course, you're on the right track, or just saying, this doesn't look right, we need to fix these things. but it's all about correcting and continuing. And in the beginning, we just want to make sure this is up and going. In any situation, like we talked about on today's challenge, the book that I always like to reference is Fanatical Prospecting. You want to make sure that you are getting leads at all time, because everything else in the business we can optimize. But if we don't have leads, then everything feels broken. If we don't have leads, then we feel like we don't have a business, or we're going broke, or this is real estate sucks and blah, 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 blah. But like leads there's never good or bad. It's just how good of a lead is it? But you always have to make sure pouring in new leads at the top. So how we do that is we text people. We know it takes us about 500 new text messages a day. When I say new, it means 500 new people go into our workflow every day. A week after we text these people, a week later, we send them another text. A week later, we send them another text. It waits 2 weeks and then sends them another text, then another text, and another text. If they don't respond, they get emails. So we're always in front of these people. But as long as we're pouring in 500 new people at the top on a daily basis, we should be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 8 leads a day. Now, John's business that Joe's referencing here, he's doing about 1,500 to 2,000 text messages a day. So it's no surprise that he is getting somewhere in the neighborhood. 2 days ago, he got 24 off-market leads, but that's not normal. He should be getting somewhere in the neighborhood of about 12 to 18 off-market properties a day based on these numbers. And that's been his scaling metric for the whole year. So these are the numbers, you guys. Like, this is tried and true. It's not my business, not just Joe's business. Like, this is the business, right? Some things you can change, some things you manage, and this is one of the things that you manage. Now, 30 to 40% of those off-market leads 40% of those leads are off-market, and it takes about 12 to 20 leads to turn into a deal, assuming you know what you're doing. In the beginning, you may pay the ignorance tax, and it takes you 30 properties to get a deal. It takes you 40 properties to get a deal. It should not take 100. We're doing something very wrong if it takes us 100. But like, for example, Joe was just getting his business going. And as we send our text messages, some people go to no answer. Some people go to cash agent dead. We have conversations with people, assuming that the responses are there. They don't have anything, they go to tier 3. If they do give us an address, it's tier 1. Now, one thing that I realized in the start of the challenge, like Joe was having a tough time getting enough tier 1s based on the text volume in Jacksonville for whatever reason. So that's the reason why we made a decision to say, you know what, let's go test another market while Jacksonville is finishing up. And Joe, have you found better responses in a separate market than what you were seeing in Jacksonville, or was it normally that's just how it was?
I actually have gotten a lot more responses from the new market. I've gotten a lot nicer responses from the new market, and I've gotten a lot more agents that are willing to share, all of their stuff, whether on market, off market. Jacksonville, I think, from what I'm hearing from the agents themselves, from the text messages and the phone calls that I'm having, is that there's, not enough properties and not enough, agents to handle all the fix and flippers or the wholesalers down there and whatnot. And they're getting pretty tired. And to tell you the truth, you could probably still make a killing down there, but it's going to take a lot more to mine it than, some people are comfortable with. So moving
it's
on.
Like as if I was trying to do this in Long Island full time. Could I make a killing work with agents in Long Island, New York? 100%. But it's not going to be as easy as somewhere else. Yeah,
it's going to take you a year to get. It's going to take you a year to get 5 to 10 agents that you can call, close, and you can do a lot of business with.
Right. Exactly.
But here's the deal, guys. I spent, let's just say, the last 20 years working 40 hours a week. Middle of January, 2 degrees outside, 2 o'clock in the morning, or middle of July, 110 degrees. My best month was during the nasty snowstorms in 2010, 2011, after that Christmas. And I didn't see my family from the day after Christmas until the end of February. And I made 28,000 gross that month, each month. February. But I had to work 16 hours a night, 7 days a week, melting snow, because we had 18,500 feet of snow. Here, I'm sitting at home and I got a couple of, reviews here and there, little appointments here and there. But if I close this one deal that I just got the accepted offer on tomorrow, I could probably match my normal $10,000 to $12,000 gross that I was making for 20 years straight in one deal. I'm not out there. I'm not in the elements. I'm not doing all that I had to do, or breaking bones and doing muscles and stuff like that. So,
right. You can be there with the family. So it does put stuff into context,
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are days where I have to say, "Hey, it was just a bad day. Tomorrow the sun's going to rise again. We can get back, turn the system back on, and we can make it happen." Beginning of this week, I was getting no leads. Monday, Tuesday, I was getting no leads. Last couple of days, seven or eight per day are coming in. So it just is the ebb and flow. But it's a lot easier to deal with it when you know what to do with those leads when they come in, and that you can keep mining the same agents that.
And we look for little ways to get better. Right. So in August, didn't really have much going. Like, what was like your biggest aha moment, like in the August challenge? Like, what was that?
The biggest aha moment for me really came when you showed me that, hey, there's a reason why something is happening. Let's check the system. And we found a little glitch in the system. The system works, right? So don't panic. Get a hold of Jim, get a hold of Matt, something like that. Let's find out what's happening.
Yeah.
You fixed it up, and it started, sending text out again. It started getting responses again. And the fact that we don't have to worry about filling up the pipeline because the agents are going out there. They're getting the sellers. You're trying to help by partnering up with the agents out there. So it doesn't matter what happens today. Tomorrow, a whole new result can happen, and you just got to keep it going. So
it's got to be every day. I mean, at least the days that you want to work it, like you're going to get out what you put in. Some days are going to be better than others. Yeah. But like your best days, make you feel smarter than maybe what you are, and your worst days make you feel dumber than what you are. Right. But that's just business in general, right? And there's a payoff at the end of it. So what's great is, we spend forever. There's a million things out there in real estate, and you guys know, if you're watching this right now, how many different strategies have you guys learned even before you started coming to these kind of things? Yep. There's so many, and we've done them all, like the PPC and the cold calling and the direct to seller approach. And I'd started door knocking foreclosures. That's what I did. It's like, I had just never found something as consistent as this, because I'm a numbers guy. I like to have the predictability behind the numbers. And I'll say, like, I know if the system's broken. Whenever like our mailers stopped working, or like we didn't get any leads and we spent $30,000 in a month on mailers, it's hard to pinpoint what was wrong. Was it the list? Were they getting delivered? Was it the marketing piece on the postcard? Was it the verbiage? Was it the copy that was on the card? Was it the phone number broken? Like, what was the problem with that? With this, I can find it very quick. I can say, oh, well, the list isn't getting texted because X, Y, and Z. Or let's go try this message real quick to see if we get a little bit better response. But we can make these changes quick. And then the numbers always work itself backwards to say, okay, same thing, 3 to 8 properties a day, 12 to 20 off-market properties turn into a deal over and over and over and over again. Right? So like,
by the way, the changes with this system, the changes are as easy as, hey, Matt, hey, Jem, this is not working. Hey, Joe, via Senor, hey, this is not working. Can you help me? Hey, Corey, this is not working in the CRM. If you have a mailer going out, or if you have ads going out, you have to go ahead and revamp the ads. You have to revamp the mailers. You have to pick another route. You have to pick another area of door knocking for yourself. You have to do that. With this, you go 3 or 4 days, there's a problem, you jump in, you get some help, you fix the problem, you're back on track.
Right. So, and it's really because like we're all implementing a very similar system in different markets all over the country. So like it's the same thing over and over. That's why I love doing like our in-person events and our mastermind stuff, because like we're all just hanging out, we're all doing the same thing. It's like almost like a franchise. Like, oh, how's your franchise doing? It's like
that, by the way. I can't come to this one coming up in a few weeks, but I hope you have one in December. I'm going to try to get out there.
We will. I'll have to post the dates on it. But looking at, I see the business is like a conveyor belt, right? So guys, back on the flow chart here, looking at this, and it, again, very repetitive. Last month in August, we spent a lot of time doing this, making sure their marketing systems were going. Because without that, Joe's business, Dan's business didn't exist. Dan couldn't join us today for the call, but Dan got his first deal in 10 days. And I'll break down the deal with you guys here in just a minute. But basically, it's the same thing. You start sending text messages, but what happens next? You got to get comfortable with phase 2 of the business, which is managing your lead by calling them, going and underwriting the property to figure out where your offer needs to be, and then calling the agent back and closing. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. Me personally, the way I like doing it is maybe different than other people, but this is what I know. This is what I feel comfortable with. If you guys are watching the September challenge, you can see we closed multiple deals this week. Guys, this is not rocket science. But phase 3 of the business is doing disposition, selling the deal, getting with buyers, and doing the whole thing. So Joe had a deal where he texted, got the lead, picked up the phone, called, comp, closed, did all that, took it through the disposition process. He was texting buyers. He was talking to buyers. He was doing the whole thing. So of all three phases, whether it be lead generation, phase 1, phase 2, which is lead conversion, the call, comp, close thing, or the disposition, which is phase 3, Joe, what was like the most, I guess, natural for you? Which one felt the most natural, and which one kind of like challenged you the most?
It didn't feel bad calling the agents and, making the offers and stuff like that. Because again, I've been on the retail side. It is a different conversation though, because even though it's part of this sales process, I'm calling as a buyer, right? I'm calling as, either a buyer to go on the contract to kind of assign the contract to somebody else, or as a fix and flipper myself. But I think the hardest part for me was getting the accurate information to make a proper offer. Because what I like about what we're doing now is we're not a low ball company, right? I don't like sending out low ball offers, but I also don't like going in saying, yeah, I'll give you whatever you want, and then get the inspector out there and now we're knocking off $100,000. It's kind of like gathering the information from the agent who just spent his time or her time gathering the information from their sellers. And what I like about this is that we go in trying to make a relationship first and then get the transaction second. So you go in and 90% of the time you can have a laugh with the agent. You can have, a personal story come out with the agent, and they'll give you personal stories too if you watch some of the recordings from this past week. That's what comes natural to me. I'm a network person. I'm a talker. The number side of things when it comes to comping and underwriting for investment purposes, I'm working on now, because I can comp for a retail sale for the MLS within like 1.5% or 2% of the sales price of the market value. But there's so much to learn that goes into the fix and flip side. And then you got to add your assignment fee on top if you're going to wholesale it, that the whole thought process and mindset behind putting a value on the house is completely different.
Yeah. I mean, just wait till my deal analyzer is ready to go for you guys next week.
Wait for that, by the way.
60 seconds, underwrite a property like this.
Yeah.
It's great. So, I mean, looking at that and all the things that happened in the August challenge, what was the hardest part of the whole thing for you?
Well, two things happened. One, I got a phone call from another wholesaler, all right? Big name. Everybody knows about him. They call direct to seller, right? Mm-hmm. And he basically threatened to sue me because he's on the DNC and this and that and the third. I'm breaking laws. And then he called me back and he said, I'm just breaking your chops. And then you explained to me, Joe, we're calling people that have public numbers. There is no such thing. They will scare you like that because they're afraid of you, right? That actually scared the crap out of me on Friday. And by Monday afternoon, I was like, you know what? That's fantastic. Anybody that threatens me is just threatened by me.
Joe called me. He left me a voicemail. I'm like, oh no, Joe's spiraling. He's spiraling. We got to call him.
but then the roller coaster of just like on the retail side, you get a contract and you're rolling. And you're getting deposit money going, and you get an inspector going and stuff like that. And then it unraveled and you got punched in the gut, but you got to pick yourself up and you got to keep going, because if you have 5 of those every week, it's not going to hurt so much if one falls through. Exactly. You don't want that to happen. And that's in the sales process where you can speak to them and kind of set it up where if something goes wrong, you can still salvage the deal somehow.
Yeah. So I mean, I look at it like, and I agree with you. So like when you have one deal on the board, it's like having a rental. You have one door, a single family house. Mm-hmm. Well, if somebody decides they want to move out, you got to evict somebody, or they stop paying the rent, you go from 100% occupied to 0% occupied.
Yep.
You got a duplex and somebody stops paying, you still got half of it.
Well, you go from cash flow to owing money to paying out of your pocket. You don't want to do that,
Exactly. So in your business, like, and even in the book Fanatical Prospecting, it talks about, having your pipeline to the point where I know that I need personally, if I want to do $80,000 to $120,000 a month in my business, I need roughly about $200,000 in pipeline value at any given time. So then that way I can hit those numbers. So if something falls out, great. I got other things backing up, have other deals in the works. I got things happening, but I think in the challenge, you got your first deal, which was the biggest challenge, getting your first contract. So kudos to you, because you did the entire thing. I mean, I didn't even talk to the agent until like he ghosted you for a little bit, and then he started answering you again.
Yeah. We were already discussing, making an offer at that point, and then he wasn't calling back, and then you kind of called him, and you kind of sparked it up a little bit again. But I mean, just that month, I still talk to Mr. Shuley. I still talk to Miss Mullen on a almost weekly or bi-weekly basis now. That's the relationship building part of it.
Exactly. So there's a way, guys, that even if you can't do a deal by and hopefully you see by the communications that we have, if you guys go back and watch the August challenge, you'll see this. And especially if you're participating in the September challenge and even future challenges, you'll see there's a graceful way to go about having conversations if you have to get out of a deal because the property isn't in the condition you thought it was, or, the seller was going to be negotiable. And we said, hey, look, they're probably going to need to do a price drop after inspection, and they don't do it, or really anything that could lead to maybe a tough conversation with somebody. Because when Joe backed out of the deal, not only did Joe lose the opportunity to make money, but also the agent that was selling it lost a commission on the deal. So it could turn into a very much like Joe's not happy about it, agent's not happy about it, seller's not happy about it. But how do you get out of the situation saying, look, here's the reason? And because if you communicate, Joe can leave being like, you know what, we did what we could. And the agent said, I respect that. Right. And there's future business down the road.
There was no anger. There was no animosity. That's how it went. He understood it was a numbers game. He understood that,
you hit him with a bad news sandwich.
Yeah. By the way, I've been using that quite a bit, even with my kids, and it's working. So thank you very much for that formula.
Hey, you're welcome. You get into good news, you get into bad news, you go back to good news,
Yeah, yeah. So, by the way, the whole thing about this, too, and the fact that I got picked for the August challenge was fantastic because I probably learned more in the 30 days or 2.5, 3 weeks, whatever it was, that we had the challenge going than I would have learned probably in 6 months of doing it on my own. But during that challenge, one more thing was told to me was you have a community. And I'm getting more and more involved in talking to the community. Jennifer just gave me the name of somebody that I should talk to. And I thank her very much for that. She's on Team Villaseñor. So, I mean, it's a small community, but it's a community that's spread across the country and you can use to your benefit and help as many people as you can in the process. It's fantastic.
100%. And again, we're small, tight-knit group, but we're all doing the same thing. And I think something that I haven't announced yet that I wanted to save to this because I knew naturally we're going to go there is that starting this month, at the end of this month, we're going to do a Community Member of the Month award. And whoever gets selected by their peers, so anybody in our group and either in the program group or in the challenge group, whoever gets selected that gets the most votes for the Community Member of the Month, they will get to join the challenge automatically for the next month. So we'll be selecting 2 people randomly like we've been doing, but the Community Member of the Month will get a chance to join too. So instead of just having 2 people on the live challenges, we're going to start having 3. So that way we never miss the people who actually give back inside the community, which I think is a big deal.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. That's awesome.
When it comes to getting going in something like this, Joe, you've been in a community now for 2 months and you've been using the system. You pushed through days when you didn't want to, and you've probably learned a lot of things that you didn't know on day one. You didn't know. And maybe if you would have known, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do this. Looking back, if someone is brand new, and they're going to join a challenge or something, what advice would you give them, knowing what you know now?
Buckle up. Buckle up. It's a fire hose, but it's not that bad. Okay. There are things that you're gonna want to know that you really don't need to know right now. Just hang tough. Do what you have to do. There's phases for a reason. There's steps for a reason. Matt's got it. Jen's got it. The system's there. The conversation is there. The workflows are there. You can tweak here and there as you go, but don't get overwhelmed. You're gonna get overwhelmed. Don't shy away. Don't run away from it when you do get overwhelmed, because it can be done. It can be done by someone who's been in the business for 30 years. It can be done by somebody who is new to the business.
One thing that I think that you did really well, just in my opinion, from what I see from the outside looking in, is that in the beginning, what happens a lot is people get into learning mode, and we learn things, but they learn at their own pace. So they watch a video and then they're gone for a week because life happens. And they watch 2 videos or they come to 1 live stream and then they're gone for another week. And here it is 2 months down the road, and they're really no better off than what they were 2 months prior.
Right.
In the beginning, you attack this thing, you're like, hey, all I'm trying to do is seek knowledge. I'm trying to seek knowledge, trying to learn this by doing it every day. You got a little bit better. And that sounds corny and cheesy, but you were in the calls. You stayed plugged in. You came to the daily live stream calls. You went to Terry's call. You went to the Dispo call. And you probably took what may take somebody 4 to 6 months to learn, and you compress that into a very small time period because you stay plugged in and you're just like, I just need to gain more knowledge while I'm doing it. You're not just learning in the classroom, you're implementing as you're going. And I think that helped you tremendously, just like get this thing off the ground.
Well, listen,
know?
I appreciate you saying that. And I feel like I should do a little bit more. I should get some more dispo calls because, once the kids come home, I have to kind of still straighten that out when I say to them, hey, guys, go do your homework while I'm finishing up my day and stuff like that. But, I want to get to more Terry's calls and Corey's calls for the, DG to work the CRM. But you know what? The way I figured out I learn is that I have to go and trip on the job site a couple of times and then go back in and watch the video and say, oh, wait, I was supposed to do that when I did that.
Mm-hmm.
But
we used to call that creating chaos. Like you want to go create chaos in your business because you're taking action, you're actually doing something for God's sake. And then you bring that back to the community and be like, okay, look what I've done. I messed it up. I think, is it irreparable? Can I do something with this? It's like, yeah, 100%. You need to do this and this and that. Yeah. And you correct and continue and you keep going. So like a day in the life of Joe running his business, solo dolo, it's you and a virtual assistant. Like what small habits are you doing? What does a day in the life look like as you implement, take your business from where we're at right now? Basically 3 deals so far.
Okay.
One didn't get a contract because they changed their plan. Second one got the contract, property's in bad condition. Third one, you just got the property under contract for lower than what I told you we needed to be at. So really confident we could sell that deal. What does a day in the life look like if somebody's trying to get to the point where they're doing 2 deals a month, 3 deals a month? What are they doing? What are you doing?
To be honest, besides the before turning on the computer, I turn on my computer about an hour before I get on the phone with my VA to do role play, to do practice, to go over challenges and objections. I do about an hour in the morning when 9 o'clock, usually from 9 to 10 is what we're doing it. She's working while this is happening. I'm working while this is happening. But just the other day, 2 days ago, I hit the call button on the WhatsApp, the video call button. And she said, hey, Joe. And I went, hey, Carrie, this is Joe Della Carpini. Thanks for, just wanted to call and say thanks for sending me the address that you have for your off market on 123 Main there in St. Louis. You have a few minutes to talk about it? And she started laughing. I was like, I'm sorry. I know I sound pretty funny because of my New York accent, but and then she jumped into the role play. But that's what I'm doing. And yesterday was a wake-up call for me as well because I think I put too much on her plate too soon, and I took some back. So I've reduced the amount of information she needs to ask for when she's vetting the leads and give her more of, hey, just get these key pieces of information and then
you can take it from there.
And then set the appointment for me. So practicing, because I told her today, she loves Stephen Curry is one of her, favorite basketball players.
I love it.
The man's still shooting 1,000 shots a day during practice, and he's a pro making millions of dollars.
And he's been doing it for a while.
He's been doing it for a long time. So, that's the small things too. The things that people don't see, the unsexy things, the behind the scene things, you got to lock them down. You got to set yourself standard operating procedures and practices and processes and just stick to it. Set a boundary with time. Set your guidelines and just run it. Don't be wild. Pick that lane, drive that lane, and that's it.
Yeah, stay consistent. There's a book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The last 7th habit is sharpen the axe. So even though you were doing it, and even if you're making money, and you never know too much, I'm always willing to learn. You're always willing to learn. Every day we want to get a little bit better. And you guys think, as I'm making these phone calls for Chris, and I called Rodham for Jonathan the other day, it's helpful for you guys to hear. But it also helps me sharpen my axe. If I went 6 months without talking to somebody, how in the world am I going to teach you guys on it? So it's always doing it. It's always trying to progress and get a little bit better. So where the business at right now, Joe?
So right now,
where are we going? Where are we going? Where do we go from here?
What do we go from here? We make sure that we sharpen up the messages, the verbiage, and the messages that we're sending out via text messages. We're making sure that we call each lead that comes in, especially the off markets, on the day that you get them. And I'm basically just asking the questions like I'm having conversations and letting the agent talk. I'm letting her volunteer information. And if it doesn't work out, just be like, listen, this one doesn't pencil for me. This one doesn't fit what I'm looking for. But you never know. We might be able to find one together in the future This is what I'm kind of looking for, whatnot. Do you mind if I keep in touch with you every month or so to see what's going on? To see how your business is doing.
And that's so much better than just leaving the door open and be like, yeah, let me go do my homework. And then you never call the agent back.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong. This week I did fall back on because I'm taking a lot of time to underwrite some of my own deals, trying to underwrite myself. That I'm taking so long that I'm cutting into my follow-up call time. And like tomorrow morning, I got to catch up a little bit, So that does happen. It's okay. And now it's
keeping momentum from where we're at right now. What are you doing to plan? Like, how are you planning on keeping this momentum going?
Really, just rinse and repeat every day. Make sure you make those calls. Make sure you make the follow-ups.
We're just getting going. We're just getting started.
Yeah, it really. You say it's not rocket science. It's really not. It's just discipline. Just set your calendar, set your tasks, and just get them done. And by the way, if you don't get all the tasks done today, tomorrow's a new day. Pick up where you left off and just keep going. Just keep going.
So if you think back 30 days ago, from where we're at today, so Dan, Dan sent out in this perfect, because 30 days ago was when Dan started his campaigns too. On August 5th, Dan sent his first campaign and he got leads, and he even sent me a voice note. He goes, Matt, I got my first leads coming in. This is great to see the addresses. But he didn't call a single one of them. Like 3 days later, I realized that he didn't call any of his leads because he was stuck. That was the next thing. He wasn't picking up the phone and making the phone call. And even Chris in this challenge was getting leads, but it wasn't super clear on what you're trying to accomplish on that second phone call. So hopefully, even for you watching this month, can see what this call, because I say the same stuff basically over and over and over again, but it's trying to do it personally and all that other good stuff. He was stuck there, but we picked up the phone. We still called the lead. Luckily, the one that he ended up getting under contract didn't sell to anyone else yet. It was a unique scenario where, again, we're the garbage men. It was a deal where the agent didn't know what to do. It was trying to go through eviction process. He said it was a really ugly house, but it really wasn't that bad. But we were able to negotiate a deal and get it done. It took Dan 10 days from the initial text for him to get his first contract. But I'll tell you, Dan would have fumbled that deal if he was left to his own devices. I don't think he would have got that contract.
Well, he would have fumbled that deal the way a young Matt, his first month on the job, probably fumbled a couple of deals. And
dozens. I can think back to him.
He just think back. Right? Yeah. What's funny is that now, listen, I'm only in the program for a little over 2 months, right? So, but I'm looking back 30 days, 40 days, and I'm saying, oh, that was such an easy fix. Why did I do that? That was such a dumb thing. Why did I do that? Why didn't I just pick up that last phone call instead of leaning back and saying, man, I have a headache? You have a headache already, just do it. And now I'm just doing it and just getting it done.
Exactly. Because, nothing teaches you a lesson more than a missed deal, a missed opportunity, and lost money. I remember my first month, I had multiple foreclosure deals. This guy named, I still think about it today, I had a guy named Francis. Before I got my first deal and made $12,000, there was another guy named Francis before that deal came, and he wanted $176,000. I still remember the numbers. And I remember I got it in that morning, but I couldn't go and talk to Cody about it because Cody was going to help me underwrite it. I couldn't talk to him to the next day because he was busy. Finally, I got Cody to look at it. He said, oh my God, it's a deal at 170. He said, we can sell this for $200 right now. Call Francis back. Oh yeah, I signed with somebody this morning. I'm sorry, Matt. Oh, the lessons learned from losing deals, And now I'm just I'm cold to it all.
But that lesson cost you a certain amount of money, which the lesson itself learned probably gained you 100 times what you paid for that lesson as you kept it in your mind and kept going. And that's
100%. I almost lost a deal yesterday. My big deal that I'm supposed to be closing out in Goodyear, where I'm going to be making like 140, 150 grand on the flip. Almost lost it yesterday. We were supposed to close last week, but we had to get clear title to close today. And the seller on the property was like, nah, I needed the money for the first of the month. My circumstances have changed. I don't know. I don't want to move forward. I'll reach back out to you if I want to move forward. Immediately, I picked up the phone. I said, hey, what's going on? What do you need? And I told you last week we were going to be closing on Friday. Is there something that changed? What's going on? Oh, I got to figure out this and I got to figure out that. I'm like, did something really change, or what's happening? All right, if I can make sure you have the money in your account by tomorrow, are we going to be able to do this? And solve that problem immediately, where if I was brand new, I would have been like, dang it, on to the next one, I guess.
When I had to cancel that contract, you're the one who wrote the email for me. I was going to go sorry, it's over. Send me back my money. Thanks.
But you hit him with a bad news sandwich, and it led to now you guys are still on good terms.
Right. And that's the whole thing. My stress level was up here. You brought me down here. Hold on. Let's just do this the right way. And if it doesn't work this way, then it wasn't meant to be. It's fine. But
100%.
Turns out it worked out.
So you learn by doing, but ideally you guys are in the community. You're in these challenges. You're in these trainings. So we can help you not have to learn by losing a $100,000 deal or a $40,000 deal or messing up a relationship that can bring you business down the road. So That's why we're here. We're here to support. Like, it sounds silly, and it may be like, well, Matt, what's in it for you? Like, guys, you don't know how much, you know how many JV deals I get a chance to do because I'm helping you guys build your business? Like, I'm not afraid to say it. Like, this brings a lot of opportunities for me. And like, in all honesty, like Alejandro right now, shout out Alejandro if you're watching. He closed a deal this week where he made $20,000 this week. And you know how good it feels? Alejandro busted his butt to make $20,000. He's been working into this thing. He's been refining it, getting better. Him and his daughter, Juliana, he finally gets the payoff of the $20,000. And he was freaking pumped. You know how good that feels to be able to help somebody make $20,000?
Good for him. By the way, guys, $20,000 is half of somebody's yearly salary in some parts of the country. So,
right. I mean, we do that, but we're talking about doing that every month, So I think that's what we're here for, y'all. That's what we're doing. So, Joe, what feels different? What feels different now than what it did back at the 1st of August?
Confidence in the system, confidence in the methods, confidence in the direction I'm going, knowing full well that, it's just going to grow more and more and more. And, no more shiny objects, really. I have the system that I can grow. And I can grow this into foreclosures, direct to sellers. I can grow this into other avenues using the same system that we have in place right now. So confidence in the future, confidence in my abilities, and confidence in the system.
100%. So guys, heading into the holiday season, this is going to be my tidbit here as we wrap up the training. It's very important. Track your stinking numbers. Your business doesn't speak English or any other human language. It only spits out numbers. It's X's and O's. It's ones and twos. That's the language of your business. And if you want to know what your business is trying to tell you or maybe scream at you, if you're not tracking anything, then you're tone deaf. You're not going to get anything from it. Your business isn't going to grow. It's not going to do what you think it's going to do unless you start tracking your numbers, because it's going to tell you what you need to fix based on the number, like what Joe's telling you. So as we head into the holiday season, make sure that this is happening on a consistent basis. I want you guys to have the best holiday season you've ever had. We're primed for it, you guys. This may be the busiest holiday season we have seen, maybe in the last 2-3 years, as far as people actually getting into the market and buying houses. The job report data was not great. It's the worst it's been, I think, in like 4 years. June was actually its first net negative in a very long time. So we're in a place now where they're changing their stance on their policy on just Federal Reserve interest rates, which changed the 10-year Treasury yield, almost went under 4% today. What does that mean for us? It means that consumer lending is going to start getting a little bit more affordable because they want people to start spending money again. And as people start spending money again, they start buying houses, then the market heats up. And if you are perfectly primed because you know how to find good deals, you know how to negotiate them, well, selling them gets a lot easier and you're going to start making a lot more money. So if you want to start making really good money, I can't think of a better time to get into real estate than right now, because we've been playing on hard mode for like over 3 years. It's going to start getting a little bit easier. And God forbid, 10-year Treasury yield dips into the mid 3s. Again, mortgage rates, most likely by Q3 next year, are going to be in the mid 5s. And who knows where they're going to go from there. But regardless, we are in control of our life. We're in control of our business. We have proven in the worst markets we can make money, in the best markets we can make money. So there's no reason why you can't make money this month and moving forward. But you got to track your numbers. You got to make sure you're getting leads on a consistent basis. You got to make sure you're sending text messages. And look, you can go and try to text homeowners, do foreclosures, do probates. I'm not going to be the one to tell you it doesn't work or it does work. But what I can tell you is this right here works. And Joe's the proof in the pudding. Chris this month is proof in the pudding. Dan's the proof in the pudding. John's been making $50,000 a month every single. I don't know what else I could tell you guys if you're not doing this, that you need to be in it. It doesn't change my life if you do a deal or not, but it will definitely change yours more than likely. And I just want to see everybody in here doing deals and making money together. That's what the No Fluff community is all about. So Joe, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being an awesome part of our community, joining this just a couple months ago and seeing where your business is at today, knowing that we're just getting started. I would love to take the deal that you're getting, get that sucker sold, make you 20 grand, and we can keep it moving.
That'd be nice. Matt, thank you very much for all of this, for the system, for the community you built. Thank you to everybody watching, helping out, being a resource for me. This is just the beginning. We're only scratching the surface. Let's go.
Just the beginning, guys. Thank you all so much for watching this special Friday edition of the Underdog Challenge recap. We'll be doing another one at the end of September. We'll get a chance to talk to Chris and John then. Joe, let's go do more business, man. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching.